Hi, my name is Eric, and today I'm going to talk about how to measure the shape using the Euler characteristic. Now, the Euler characteristic is what we use in my lab at Michigan State University in a really cool project that mixes a bit of math, a bit of computer science, and a bit of plant biology. I'm not going to talk about plant biology, but you'll see a lot of cool pictures. For instance, when you go outside and you look at trees, flowers, roots, you can simply wonder all this shape and how it plays. So just giving plants as an example, again, put them, for instance, in an X-ray CT scan, and you have these extremely beautiful, extremely detailed X-ray CT scans as if you go to a hospital and you see all these complex internal structure. And plants is just one example, but in general, we have all this shape and we want to measure it and compare it. So how do you do that? Well, we can turn to topological data analysis. So topological data analysis goes with the motto, shape is data and data is shape. And the basic idea is that you have some raw data. In our case, are CT scans, but you can have point clouds or time series or essentially any kind of data. And you want to extract shape information using, in our case, Euler characteristic. So shape, again, is a squishy term because, for instance, looking at this spike, how pointy is pointy and how narrow is narrow. With topology, we can go from shape, a squishy term, to a series of numbers. And with these numbers, we can then do basic statistical analysis and machine learning. Now, what is TDA exactly? Well, if you boil it down, it's two ingredients. The first ingredient is that we need to think our data points or network or an image as complexes. So in our case, we're going to work with cubical complexes because they mesh well with images. And a cubical complex is a collection of building blocks, where these building blocks are vertices, edges, squares, and cubes. And once we have our complex, TDA seeks to describe the shape of this complex based on topological features, connected components, loops, and voids. So for instance, in this case, we have two connected components, this large connected component here, one smaller here. We have three loops, these three framed squares. Notice that these ones are not loops because there's like a square tile blocking them. And if we imagine that this cube is hollow, then we will have one void. So that's how we would topologically describe this complex. Now, that might be too simple to describe things. So we need a second ingredient. That second ingredient is our filter functions. So filter functions is essentially you take every pixel or every data point and you assign it a real number. And based on the real number, it will show up at a different time. And then you will count the number of holes, connected components, and voids that form throughout time. For instance, curvature leads to some interesting holes here early on, or eccentricity, that there are no holes, or you can measure them by Gaussian density and there are some holes over here. In Vietori strips, everything just builds up and suddenly you have a hollow seed. But imagine that if you have a very large seed, a very large scan, as is our case, then keeping track of all these connected components, loops, and voids can be pretty expensive, computationally speaking. We need to do something even simpler, and that is the Euler characteristic. The Euler characteristic is really simple. You just need this formula, number of vertices minus number of edges plus number of faces. And for instance, if you have all the platonic solids and you do this formula, vertices minus edges plus faces, you always get 2. Now, the really cool thing of the Euler characteristic is that it's not just easy to compute, but it's deeply linked to the topological features that I just mentioned. In our case, all these are equal to 2 because they follow this other rule, connected components minus number of loops plus number of voids. So in this case, for each of these platonic solids, which are topologically equivalent to a sphere, all of them are just one connected component. They are only one thing. They have no loops because there are no open frames. All the frames have tiles. And if we imagine that these polyhedrons are hollow, then they contain one void inside. So that's 1 minus 0 plus 1 equals 2. Cool. Now, the Euler characteristic might be too simple on its own. For instance, you cannot tell apart a cube from a tetrahedron or a sphere. But recall the second ingredient of TDA, the Euler characteristic curve, and that is pick a filter. In this case, a directional filter, which is first pick a direction in our example from top to bottom, and then you will slice your image, in our case, a seed. You will slice the seed across that direction. And as you slice it and dice it in different seeds, in different slices, you will count how the Euler characteristic changes as you keep adding those slices. So the whole idea of the Euler characteristic curve is to understand how the Euler characteristic changes as we reconstruct this seed across a given direction. Now, there are lots of ways to pick a direction. How to pick the right one for the right image? In truth, we don't really know. So we'll go for all possible directions, and that's the Euler characteristic transform. We'll go for all possible directions and we'll concatenate them into one single sequence. Now, all possible directions, that's an infinite number. So just to visualize it, let's go with only 3. And for this, let's imagine that there are only 3 directions. In this case, left to right, forth back, and top bottom. So 3 directions. We slice the seed in 3 different ways, 32 slices each direction, and we compute the Euler characteristic curve for all those directions. And by the end of the day, we get this massive long vector that summarizes shape as we look at the seed from all possible angles. So why do we care for the ECT, the Euler characteristic transform? Well, first of all, as I mentioned, it's computationally efficient. You just need vertices minus edges plus faces minus cubes if you are in 3D. Mathematically speaking, you also can prove that the ECT is injective and that it is a sufficient shape statistic. So different Euler characteristic transforms correspond to very different objects. Now, the caveat is that, again, as I just mentioned, there are infinite number of directions. There's ongoing research trying to figure out how to go from infinite to finite, and then how to do it in a computationally efficient manner. But for practical purposes, let's imagine that we are going to take 100, 150, 200. So let's look at an example. Let's load an image, a black and white image, say an image of a firm. We are going to choose directions. Then, mathematically speaking, we should go for infinite directions, but we are going to limit ourselves to only 24, spread evenly across the circle. We can compute the Euler characteristic transform, the Euler characteristic curve across one given direction. So in this case, this is this vector, like going from southwest to northeast. And you can see that choosing a different number of thresholds and different number of slices, the more thresholds you choose, the more nuances you can pick. And the Euler characteristic transform, it means you simply take all 24 directions and you concatenate them in a very long sequence. And this sequence of numbers, this sequence of Euler characteristics, this topological signature summarizes the shape. Now, the Euler characteristic transform depends on directional filters, but you can take any other filter, say radial distance from the center of mass to all the vertices. That's another filter, and you can compute also the Euler characteristic and see how the Euler characteristic changes as you increase the radius. So what's next? Now that we have a series of numbers for each shape, we can do basic analysis and statistics. Go crazy. Pick any other filter that you think about and just go with it. And if you want to play with this notebook to play more with the Euler characteristic transform, you are more than welcome to use this tutorial. Thank you for being here, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have with my details.